Hello, and welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Wow, speaking of the F word. So
fuck the fucking fuckers?
Oh, yeah,
that
right?
F word?
I read something that had to do with, see, we're not monetized anyway.
No.
So I don't really give a fuck.
Zero fucks.
There was some big old thing a couple weeks back, not weeks, it was a ways back, about how YouTube's algorithms were demonetizing people that had excessive cussing.
Really?
Because they weren't brand friendly.
Uh-huh.
So they started demonetizing just based off of curse
words
alone.
Oh, really?
Right. So there was a big like, really? Like, what if brands don't care? Like, what,
Yeah.
But the machine
Yeah.
was taking it away.
Well, because you listen to, like, we've talked about him many times, but Chris D'Elia's podcast prior to the shit went going down, that dude had all kinds of sponsors, right?
Right.
And he said all kinds of
all
shit.
the things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so what had reignited some of the pissed offness,
The passion.
was that Twitch right now has a whole bunch of things where what they call hot tub streams, where
I saw that.
right. So the ladies, there's like a dress code somewhat being enforced, and there's a loophole that affords women to wear bikinis or swimwear because it's swimwear.
Right.
So as long as they can wear scantily clad swimwear if they're sitting in a pool or a hot tub. And then
Because it's bathing suit stuff.
because it's bathing suits. So you can get away with cleavage and excessive hip area showing. And the ladies that are doing it are full on, full throttle. Like, okay, well, if this is afforded to me, fuck yeah. And if people are going to watch it, fuck yeah. And if they're going to pay me money and donate and tips and all that thing, okay. There was a lady, like the hot top of the charts, tub lady, hot tub lady.
Is she a hot tub lady?
They pulled her.
A lady of the hot tub?
Yeah. I mean, and she's it's so over the top. She's a very blessed woman. She is blessed all over the place.
All right.
She's a specimen. And she's just flat. I mean, she's thrown it in the face. Like, she's sitting in, like, the smallest inflatable kiddie pool that you could imagine.
Oh, God.
With the probably not even knee-deep worth of water. And she's riding an inflatable banana. And then, like, if you keep the sub-train going... and you kick in $10, I write your name on the fucking banana in a Sharpie. And mouth-breathing basement dweller, slow fappers have nothing better to do than throw money at this chick and get their name on the banana. And, and it's just, but more power to her. She's within the rules.
Is that bragging rights? Like, I had to give her $3,000 to get my name on the banana,
and then hopefully, I'm bidding on the hot tub water, Anyway, Twitch pulled her, like her ad brand revenue stuff. Like, so, she no longer gets ad rolls on her stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was saying that she tried. She was in a live and she tried to add ads and she clicked the button and it just does nothing.
Yeah, and that sponsored. It's like, well, where does that stop? And a lot of the problem was that Twitch didn't notify her of the specific things in which, like, how
they didn't say anything. They just did it.
Right, they just yanked it.
Yeah,
it's like, well,
this goes back to. People being pissed at, like, Facebook and Twitter and places like that. It's the same exact thing. Like, this is someone else's space, and you're just a user on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like someone else is the determining factor of how all this content is displayed or not.
Right.
And if they don't agree with what you're doing, sorry.
Right.
And you don't have much of a choice, really. It's not like it's not like it's a freedom of speech thing or anything like that.
They control the rules.
It is their servers, it's their service, it's their software.
Yeah.
It's their money that they put into the back end.
Right.
And if they feel like you are doing something outside of what the intended use of the tool is, then they're just like, sayonara.
Yeah. It's weird because it's like, well, I get it.
Yeah.
They own the space.
Yeah.
Is it completely ass?
Oh, it is.
To make up, right. Is it a terrible way to like run when you're hosting clients that do a thing? Absolutely.
Well, like, why
But,
not?
like,
What's wrong with striking up a dialogue with this person
Right.
prior? Like, hey, we're seeing this. We really don't like it.
Right.
This is not what we're wanting to go
Right.
towards.
You're not labeling your channel as mature. Clearly, it's mature. We need you to make some of these changes because holistically, we aren't gating our ads to channels of age demographics. They're everything. So when fucking Charmin toilet paper ends up getting a randomized ad on your hot tub stream while you're slow grinding an inflatable banana,
Yeah.
that's problematic for us because then we hear from sponsors. Sponsors are paying us.
The money talks.
Right.
For sure.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
And and then the incessant, never-ending bitching by the users.
Yeah.
We're like, well, then walk. Go. If you don't like it, take your service elsewhere.
Well, that's true.
Can you? Can you not?
I mean,
well, then,
but it's like having an adult conversation with somebody. Like the service just goes, "You're done," and like doesn't bother to say shit. But instead, if they wanted to be constructive about it and try and figure it out, have a conversation with that person offline or on whatever,
right?
And figure if you can't come to a conclusion, any kind of decision or an agreement between the two of you, then it's time to part ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this bullshit of just hiding behind the service, like, okay, Johnny,
just flip the switch.
Yeah, turn off all of our ads.
Yeah, it's done.
I mean, that's just.
Do we need to inform her? No.
We're just saving ourselves the hassle of not having to have a conversation.
If we start putting that conversation out there, right? Anyone and anyone nowadays, it's like if you have some sort of legal conversation with someone in the current social media environment that we're in, none of that's someone's going to screenshot it and like, oh, wow, golly, how'd that get leaked? This is their real position on it.
Yeah.
So they just don't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
true. We're the big brother. That's it. Our conversation's over. I mean, we pulled the ads.
I see the both sides. I see the side of her being upset about it, and I see the side of the service being
100%. Yeah, me too.
Upset about it. But I think that it's on the service for just being shitty.
It is
for not starting a conversation with that person.
Heaven forbid, in the millions upon millions that you're raking in, that you don't take an opportunity just to have a conversation with someone that's probably also generating thousands, if not tens of thousands of
well, that's just the
stuff
thing.
Running through. Like they get a cut.
She's generating revenue for them.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to be amicable about it and try and figure it out so that you both benefit somehow?
Right.
Instead of being like, oh, just turn them off, fuckers. I mean, you're out.
We'll deal with the conversation. Eventually it'll blow over. She needs us. Whatever.
People are going to be pissed, but whatever. We'll just keep on trucking. We don't care.
They'll have
that's
whatever.
That's just
but it
lame.
just doesn't seem like a good way to.
No.
Now, she makes money hand over fist from the dudes that are sending her stuff. I think she's got an OnlyFans anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what the article I read was saying, basically, that she had already spread her stuff out, and she's like, if you haven't done this and you have a similar thing, they could be coming after you, but if you haven't done it and they just turn you off, you're gonna hurt,
right?
But I've already done it, so I'm already
diversified.
Yeah.
You know what pissed me off too was seeing the amount of people that just wanted to pick and fight about the topic. Like Twitch is for, if I log into Twitch and I want to see someone in Call of Duty, I don't want to see some chick in a fucking hot tub. And people are like,
Well,
don't
what do you
watch.
Yeah, what do you? You're the one clicking on it.
If you click the Call of Duty tile to get Call of Duty players,
yeah,
you're not getting Amaranth in her fucking hot tub.
yeah.
So if you're clicking on it, that's on you, dumbass. You
Yeah.
wouldn't even know it was there.
You had to go searching for it.
You had to go looking for it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you Twitch probably doesn't want to put her in her... I mean, maybe they would.
I don't even know what she looks like, to be honest.
She's gifted.
We've gone over this already.
She wears all kinds of wigs and does cosplay stuff anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does like this thing where she looks Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Very top-heavy. Yeah.
Okay.
She's blessed.
The whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate.
So they got me scared because at some point it'll be, hey, we're going to have to demonetize some of these Sad Dads episodes because the one guy, the food guy, he says fuck all the time. I'm like, I kind of feel bad about that. But then at the point in which we're worried about monetized, hopefully we've got something else coming in where it's like, I tune in just to hear him drop the F-bombs. Subscribe to our Patreon. And
there's multiple ways that you can get monetized, and one is
buy my bathwater.
Well, one is by doing in-video ads, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you see those videos and they're starting their video and then that gives me the opportunity to talk about my fucking ass.
Yeah.
And then
Have
they
you
do a
heard
whole thing.
about Free Wipe Gyms?
And there's like 3 minutes of ass conversation and you're like, dude, just can we get to the show?
Right.
But see, if YouTube decided to shut down their ads for monetization, they still have their built-in monetization.
And that wouldn't stop us from talking about Instapots.
No.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not that we're sponsored, but
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind being sponsored.
I mean, you could send me a Ferrari.
I wonder if Instapot would be interested in sending me a Instapot that was big enough for me to like
do a hot tub stream. You could probably just take a pool and slap a goddamn Instapot.
Well, I mean, at that point, you might as well just get one of those big black kettles and hang it over a fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be more efficient.
Anyway, I'm boiling.
I'm cooking up dinner.
Check it out.
The family's in the tub.
It's a Jim's pot.
You can't really regulate the heat very well, but
no,
it gets hot quick.
If I get out, I burn my fucking feet on the coals.
Yeah. So anyway.
Hey,
how's it going?
Hey,
I mean,
I don't even.
That was a long intro to get where we're
Sad Dads Club podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Well, I think it's 139.
It is, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please redirect those to Foo.
Right.
At saddadsclubpodcast@gmail.com.
Or the comments in the YouTube episode.
Or the comments in the,
as it's uploaded on Fridays.
And actually, you can make comments on our website on all the... did you know that? You can make comments in there? Yeah. I'm the one that always makes all the comments.
You have to do it. I just copy and paste and put that in the YouTube episode thing.
Oh.
I don't see that part.
No, like users can go in there and comment on stuff.
Right. Or buy merch.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there once or twice.
I'm actually... found out that the web store link was broken, which Teespring just, hey.
Oh, by the way.
We got a whole different URL, but I'm not going to bother to tell you.
Shocker.
And so, yeah. And so I figured that out and fixed the links, but that is up and running. I'm also working on, I've been trying to get, it's so hard sometimes to get people to get back to you. Looking at you, Teespring. Anyway, trying to get a subdomain for store that goes to our Teespring. So it would be store.
And we also have
saddadsclub.net would go to our store. But we have a store that's just not under our domain.
And we registered the ball. What was the... Oh, my God.
Do we both forget?
Ball bag crotchgoblin.net?
Yeah, that's the one.
Whatever, something.
Now I got to register another domain.
Oh, my God. Wow, we totally forgot. Copenwang. .net.org.
But anyway, that's what's happening. So we do have store stuff if you're interested. We've got some T-shirts and quite a few things up there, actually, mugs and stickers and things like that. If you're interested, go check it out. We wouldn't
At this point
be sad with the support.
I need to probably come up with a fence shirt because, hey, it wasn't even my fence.
Welcome to the Sad Dads Club Fence Show. I mean, that's where we're at.
That was a good Sunday worth of work.
So we've talked about this,
right? We talked about you had something left.
Yeah,
as a working thing.
I had two. Well, I've got lots of broken posts in my fence, but the two that are the worst are mainly the one that holds up my gate. So it was one of these situations where anytime I wanted to open my gate, I had to like pull on it this way and push it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it would open up. Otherwise, it would just fucking fall over. So I Saturday went and bought lumber, and it was a little late. And I'm like, I'm not getting into this today.
How'd you buy the lumber? You rent a truck? Or
CRV, man.
Well, I did not think. How did those?
They're only 8-foot boards.
Oh, okay.
They fit like a champ.
Oh.
In fact, I can fit 8-foot boards. I did it yesterday in the Cadillac.
Wow.
I did it yesterday.
Adventurous, son.
Was it yesterday? No, it was the day before yesterday.
So you got lumber Saturday.
So yeah, went and got lumber, and I'm like, I'll get to this Sunday. So Sunday morning, I get up. I mean, I just wake up and it's early, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting to this. So I go out there and I start dismantling the fence, and I'm like, oh shit, these posts aren't connected at all. No wonder.
Yeah.
Like they just are broken completely. So I get the fence down, and the next big job, apparently, even bigger than all the rest, seemingly, is just digging out the damn cement that was there before.
Right.
And so I am using a pickaxe to like dig around the fence or the cement that holds the broken fence post.
Right.
And it is just not budging. So
I am convinced that when the home builder companies that put houses up fresh,
yeah,
I don't know where they get their concrete, but it's not the same like quickcrete shit that we get.
I don't know.
I think it is straight up like foundational, like because it is high impact, high dense shit.
I feel like they're mixing a big barrel of it, right? Because they're got hundreds of
just
posts
same
to
truck,
sink in a day or something.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just mixing whatever concrete they probably pour fucking driveways with and shit, you know?
Right.
So I'm like, we're kind of struggling with it. And like, I realize I probably don't have the right tools, and maybe I could use a sledgehammer. So I ping you, and you're like, yeah, come get my sledgehammer.
Right.
So I come over here, and then you're like, give me an hour.
Yeah.
I will help you. And I'm like, okay.
Yes, because at that point in like the small chitty chat that we had here,
yeah,
I could tell that if it was the type of concrete that some posts have, it would be like, oh, it's probably going to break with the sledge. But that you had mentioned, we'd already been picking at it. Now I'm coming to get the sledge. I'm like, something tells me this is like the typical.
Well,
and it was
what we were doing was using the STS
oh, yes,
drill.
and that you had to get the STS out.
Yeah, so we were using the STS drill to drill holes into it, and then trying to get it to break up a little easier. And that did help.
Right.
But we were using a pickaxe to like try and break the cement. And so I'm like, sledgehammer would be great. I'm pretty sure Jason's got one.
Right.
Coming over, you know?
Right.
And you're like, cool. So I came over, and you're like, give me an hour. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So
I was going to do yard work anyway, so I figured, I'll slam on it for an hour and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, an hour turned into pretty much the entire day.
Right.
to get out 2 pieces of cement.
Right.
We had 2 posts worth of cement. That was it. And that was most of the day was just beating on that shit trying to get out of the ground.
Yeah. I mean, it's
That's insane.
It's
dude.
rough.
Oh
it's
my
rough.
gosh.
And that allowed us to introduce the pig sticker or the landscaping pry bar, I
Oh my
suppose, if you
God.
actually wanted to go buy one.
It's like 35 pounds or something.
Right. Steel
Yeah.
throughout.
It's got almost a pinhead on one side, and the other side's like this wide flat blade
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
You just
you
up and down.
Oh.
Pile drive this. Yeah. I don't know how much it weighs.
it feels like it's like 30 pounds,
But if-
35 pounds.
If Fun Will from from Zombie's birthday party, he gave me all kinds of compliments on my arm. Now, whether or not that was because he was totally sauced, he's like, what are you doing for your arms? They're so big. And I said, yard work.
You're like, yo, I'm married.
I'm the Lord Fu, fence lord, lord of all fences.
The fence work makes the
Right.
men's work.
Right? There was a whole podcast where I told everybody how fucking absolutely tore up I was from putting
Yeah.
in the gate one.
Yeah.
Trust me, you spend a weekend throwing that bar
Yeah.
into concrete, and you do that over a couple weekends, you arms are going to be reflecting it. So we were
Yeah. Well,
throwing that thing into the
Yeah, and
concrete.
what made it even harder was the confined space that we were in working.
right.
We're like butted up against a bush and like in a small space between the houses, and there's
the
by the
existing
way,
fence that we didn't want to fully take down.
Yeah. By the way, there's plumbing underneath there that nobody
Right.
knew about.
Oh yeah. So I came over. I'm fresh as all nines, and I start tearing up this concrete. We're probably 15 minutes in, and everyone's all smiles like, well, fucking Foo's got it. We have pulled up chunks of this thing. We're starting to get probably a good grasp at the size of the hole and
Yeah.
how much work we've got left to put into it. And took a small beat to all right, we'll take out some dirt here. And I start wailing on this fucker going to town again. Wah, 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 wah. And it wasn't until our next batch of cleaning where it was realized
Oh shit.
that I had clearly, without any equivocation, had smashed the shit out of one of your PVC lines. Just
Well,
somewhere in the landscape fit of rage had thrown that pipe through or crushed or pushed concrete into a pipe, and then it was, congratulations, I have made more work.
like I said, it would have probably happened to Chandler and I if we were just doing it ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried. I think I talked about it when I did the fire pit in the back. I knew there were sprinkler lines there, and I still broke one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like we didn't know they were there. I mean, I probably in the back of my mind knew they were there somewhere. I thought they were under the sidewalk. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to be right there.
Right there. Yeah.
But they were there. And so in addition to trying to get all the cement out, then it's a trip to Home Depot or Lowe's to get repair things. And
We had nicked the controller box lines as well. So then it was, and we ended up with all the parts. But, then we had to take a beat from just digging out concrete. Then it was, well, let's see how fucked up I did this.
Yeah, are
So
the wires still working?
Right. You started off all of your lines. You got to the first sequence, and water starts gushing out of the pipe. Well, it's good. At least we only had to go one deep before we realized how fucked up it was. But yeah, there was water coming out
It filled that hole pretty quick.
It filled the hole, and I'm like, well, fucking great. But then we were concerned about the controller lines, so then we had to take care of that to make sure that we actually didn't sever anything, which we didn't. We got lucky there. And we had talked about at length the fixes afforded to, you come back even probably 4 or 5 years trying to fix a pipe that you have smashed in the middle was usually you had to dig extra wide out and then cut out the entire length, and then you were trying to do this dance where you pull almost like a reverse wishbone. You try and pull the pipes up, put a coupler on there, and then you trying to squeeze them back down and push them back into the dirt.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
But now they have all of these fancy
couplers
and slip adjusters where you can glue one in and you can come out as far as, well, within a relative distance that makes that hole, you don't have to dig quite out so far.
Right.
You're not fighting it. So there's all kinds of handy extra doodads that have happened since. But it was...
So, I mean, long story short, the fence is still not finished. I mean, the fence is up. The gate's not done. So I have to... I've been working...
say you did that at lunch? You didn't...
I worked on it. One of the pieces is to replace all the wood that was, like, bolted to the side of the house.
Yeah.
So I had to peel that off.
Oh,
it
yeah,
had
that's
these
right.
like 6-inch nails in it that went into the side of the house.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, these are huge. So I went to Lowe's and they had these 6-inch that would have gone in the same hole.
Right.
But they were screws basically.
Oh, lag screw kind of things?
Yeah, but like made for like going in, anyway. I got a few of those. And so that's what I was doing today, was just like replacing what I'd torn out and like making sure the holes line up, which is not an easy thing to do, but figure it out. So I got that mounted. So that took about an hour this afternoon, or at lunchtime. That was my lunch hour.
Yeah,
was working on that, and then the next part is probably tomorrow. Probably tomorrow night. I'll work on making the gate door.
Yeah.
But, it's just...
And we rocked that, too, as the old guys, because, we had good songs on, but we outlasted the young buck, like, with the pry bar. He'd go in a hot sprint for 45 seconds, and then he'd be...
That thing is a chore to move, I'm just saying.
Right. Then we had Shan come out.
Yeah.
Shan could lift it, and then she stuck it right in the slop and couldn't pull it back out again. No Excalibur for Shan.
She didn't like holding it.
No.
It was probably dirty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, does that have rust on it?
I haven't held this much steel in my hand since Fu was helping me out of the attic. That's right.
Wow.
Shit.
But yeah, so and then it was kind of fun actually having the three of us there working on, and Chandler and I were talking about it later, like having you help us. Not only was it helpful, but we actually had lots of chuckles and laughs and jokes and and that's
a good way to do yard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we got it done ish.
Yeah, I mean, we got the
hard part.
Concrete out, we got the post set by the time you left. And very grateful. Can't thank you enough.
Hey.
Can't thank Venus enough for allowing your time to be spent at my house for the afternoon. I mean, it turned into a long day. I was very tired. And I think about the time you left, I was like, I'm done. Well, first of all, you got to wait for the cement to set, but I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to clean up and go in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you have good food though?
Did
you do the calorie thing? Like I said, I think we checked in at some point probably before you had gone to bed or passed out. Like I came in, and I came home, cleaned up, and we weren't quite ready for dinner yet. And I'm watching something on TV, and it was like it reminded me of like when I would go up the hill and snowboard or something. On the way down the hill, after spending all day like snowboarding or skiing or doing anything, all you know is you want calories. Fucking burgers, fries, hot dogs, pizza, burgers, fries, hot pizza, candy, soda,
yeah.
Everything looks good, and it was some Texas law show where they are like not animal control, but like hunting.
A Texas law show?
I think it was called Lone Star Law or something like that.
Okay.
They're like gamesmen, like not Forestry Service.
Or like
whoever regulates hunters.
Oh, okay.
We totally drawn a blank.
Lone Star Huntsman?
Kind of something like that.
Okay.
But they're following rangers that are people who are hunting deer or fishing and whatnot. And so it's interesting to see like rednecks. You mean I wasn't supposed to shoot it though? using my son's license because I'm a felon and I can't have a gun? Well, I was bow hunting anyway. Sir, it's got a bullet hole in the head.
You're holding the rifle.
Oh, shit. Like, oh, God.
Let's get down to forensic analysis of this weapon.
Yeah, random Texans that, like, just go onto other people's property to dump deer entrails.
Oh, my God.
Like, son,
that's terrible.
What are you doing? Well, we didn't want to dump them here, so we went over to the property. And
I don't know if you know, but this is not good eating.
yeah, did you ask permission? Well, you got to do that? Oh, fucking sir, here's a $250 fine. Get the fuck out of my face. Anyway, but in between those, I would get commercials for, and it was just like, oh, what's for dinner? I do all calories.
You know, I don't even remember what we did for dinner. I was so tired.
I think Data said you had sushi.
He had sushi.
Oh.
Yeah. He left.
Did he?
Yeah. Shortly after you left.
Pussy.
So I was alone to clean up. I mean, it was fine. I don't remember because I know one night the girls made some kind of soup, and I don't know if that was that night or I don't remember.
So have you
it was all a blur.
Figured
after
out what
that.
to do with the leftover dirt?
There's a pile of dirt still. Holy shit, man! I don't know how.
That's one of the great mysteries of fence building. Someday I'll make like a psalm about it or something.
I was speaking of this. This is the same thing, same principle. I was watching this video, and this guy was talking about burying like an above ground pool in the ground. And he says he's like a company that does it for people.
Okay.
So it's a video about doing it, and like here's the basics of it essentially. So he's like, the first thing I tell my customers is, when you dig out a space for a pool and put a hole in the ground,
right,
there is way, way, way more dirt than you think there is in the hole. But I'm not buying that for my situation, because we pulled dirt out of a hole and put dirt back in the hole, but we still have a lot of dirt left out of the what I would consider to be not in the hole.
Yeah.
So where was all this dirt
it's
before?
It's like building the Lego Death Star, and it's complete, but you've got one whole bag of Legos left. You're like, where does this shit go? Like, there's nothing in this makes sense. Like, it's built. It's done. Everything is leveled up for the most part, and I have
more Legos.
Half a wheelbarrow of fucking dirt.
Well, that begs the question to me is, if you were going to dig a space for a pool and then not put a pool in it and just fill it back in, would you have a mound of dirt?
I think you probably would
like it would go from being flat. That's how you start.
Yeah.
You dig all the dirt out.
Yeah.
And then you put the same dirt you just dug out and put it right back in the hole. Would you have a mound?
You would have a pitcher's mound.
I think so. Or bigger. Based on what I saw, because I didn't even have that big of a hole.
It was not shocking.
I mean,
it's magic. It speaks of wheelbarrows. So I think it was it Monday? Because I was busy Sunday. We were trying to still do yard stuff in the yard here. So we wanted to do, we're trying to get dirt we're transplanting bamboo from planters that I made, I think, when the kids were toddlers. The bamboo in two of the planters has finally like, I am free. And so we want to put them in what some people from the country would recognize as like galvanized water troughs.
Yeah.
Much bigger. Bamboo ain't gonna fuck with those. But we need to fill it with dirt. And the wheelbarrow Frankenstein that I put together probably months back that I was super proud of, the tire finally gave up the ghost. And so I was spending middle of last week in moving bark around. I would have to pump it up, and I would get a day out of it. But over the course of the weekend, I think Saturday, the tire was just like, nope. I'm all done.
Is it cracked or something?
It's got a tube, so it's not tubeless.
Oh, so the tube's got to
go. Yeah. So I figured, I think it was Saturday. I'm like, I'll buy a new tire. Well, next time we're over at Home Depot or Lowe's, pick one. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just need a tire. We ended up buying one. Got it back. I think Monday at some point I went to try and not only did I fill the current wheelbarrow with Fix-A-Flat,
Yeah.
hoping to get more than a day out of it. I think that made it worse
What?
because then I would pump it up and I would get one load in the wheelbarrow and then it would be flat on my way back. And then I was struggling because if you're also anyone that's ever flipped a wheelbarrow around and kind of carried it behind you, like from the arms,
Yeah.
and ever run your ankle up on the crossmember bar,
Yeah.
that's one of those things that's just above stubbing your toe
Yeah.
and shutting your finger in a door, but below getting kicked in the balls.
Is it like your Achilles when you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just mangling your Achilles.
Oh.
And with the flat tire, the wheelbarrow was just a hair bit lower than you've been used to. And I think I did it 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, fucking, no, I can't. We ended up buying the wheelbarrow tire. Monday, I tried to put it together. 1, too small of a tire, so I fucked up there. 2, trying to get the axle off to replace the tire. The Franken arms apparatus that I had, that I'm like, well, the tire's fine, so I'm keeping these arms. They were rusted. Everything was rusted together.
It sounds easy, right? You're just
It's
gonna
right.
buy the fucking tire. It's got a hole in the center.
Right.
You're just gonna slip the old one off and put the new one on.
Right.
And then you're good.
I spent a good minute and a half like, why can't I just hammer out the axle? If I could just hammer out the axle, then I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I'll just put the tire in, slip the axle back through. No, there's like cotter pins inside.
Oh.
So it's done inside the bearings of the actual tire itself.
Nice.
So I can't get into the tire. I can't get the axle off the arms because everything is rusted out. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm done.
Did you buy a new wheelbarrow?
I sent my wife to go get me a wheelbarrow.
Pick me out one?
Yeah.
That was bold.
Well, I was doing something else. I was like multitasking. So I'm like, I'll handle this if you go get me wheelbarrow and dirt.
the most expensive wheelbarrow they have.
And she's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, well, you can send me a picture. But actually, I don't mind the ones that are kind of like a tub.
The red ones with the racing stripes?
Yeah,
And the
whatever.
motorized wheel?
Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. Even the ones with the really larger, like, bicycle tires that are, it's almost like a tub. It's like a plastic tub.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the traditional wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care. I don't want a tire on it that will deflate and I have to fucking pump up anymore.
Yeah.
She's like, fine, I'll handle it. We good to go. So she goes to Lowe's. She sends me a picture.
Home store name here.
In a home improvement store of non-denominational names. Sends me a picture
Yeah.
of one of the cart style.
Uh-huh.
And it was $60. And I went,
That's not bad.
that's not bad.
No. I'm expecting like $125 or something like that.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Oh no. Wait, she showed you at 2 scale and it was like a little kid one? Oh no.
There was nothing in the picture for scale outside other of these units.
Oh no.
And listen, I love my wife.
I mean, I'd love to think that we talked about this beforehand, but we did not talk about this before.
Guys, I've been saving this one. So she did all the heavy lifting. She went, got the thing, got the dirt, comes back,
Oh, no.
and I'm mid like disassembly of the planter boxes.
Yeah.
And she had wheeled out the wheel bucket that if you've seen any of the Austin Powers movies or Lord of the Rings, this was a wheelbarrow for a fucking hobbit, not man size.
This is a wheelbarrow for like you want to keep your kid involved
Yes.
with helping in the backyard.
This was
You're like
grandma's
6-year-old
or someone who just learned how to walk. They could use it as a walker.
Maybe that's what it was, a walk assistant
just
device.
fill it with ballast and you can walk with it. Fucking.
It's just to provide balance.
You could not even. Wow. So I'm like, I looked at it and I went, well, that's why it was $60. I thought I was gonna get a deal. And then she comes out and I think she knew because one of the first things she's like, I didn't realize it was that small. And I looked at the wheelbarrow and I'm like, look at that fucking.
You know how many trips it's going to take for me to...
Clearly, this was a failing on my part in not introducing my wife or anyone else in the house, or my son, because my son went with her as an escort, as to the size of the current one that we have. If they had more familiarity in toting shit around the yard, I would not have gotten the Hobbit wheelbarrow.
Right.
I said, I'm trying to get things like done.
Yeah.
And at the time, we didn't have, I think we were nearing late evening, but it was still daylight. I had not done anything with the Hobbit wheelbarrow yet.
Uh-huh.
I had disassembled the one planer. I'm like, I have to start. So I pumped up the tire of the fucking Franken wheelbarrow again and got a load of dirt in it, and I can hear I not even making half a trip anymore. I'm loading it after I had just pumped it, and I'm hearing.
Oh my god!
And I get it.
You just start running.
I am sprinting with this fucking wheelbarrow.
This is like a picnic day, like race.
Oh yeah,
right.
Like the people where you've got the people on all fours.
Yeah.
It's like, how fast can I get over the railroad tie, through the pea gravel, with the flat tire, up on the, and I think I got halfway into one of these 2x2x4 galvanized tubs. I got it about halfway full before not only had I eaten an Achilles on my way back, but I was tired of losing I'm spending core energy trying to keep the thing upright from spinning out and drifting in the pea gravel. I'm done.
And pumping the tire up. So
every trip I had to pump up. I'm like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. It was pressing twilight, and I had put the tailgate up in the truck. And Venus goes, well, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going
to return this.
To get a wheelbarrow.
She's like, Hobbit fucking wheelbarrow back.
She's like, well, go to Home Depot. And I went, okay. I didn't touch it. She said she would take it back.
Oh, okay.
And you got to keep in mind, outside of probably embarrassment when she listens of her realizing she had bought the child size one, no one was mad. It was mildly comedic, and I was laughing up until I started banging my Achilles into wheelbarrows. But I was beyond frustrated. I'm like, I'll just go get one.
Yeah.
There's no, and I'm not gonna give her a banana to start giving scale to size things. So went to Home Depot. I ended up getting what looks to have been the great grandpa father's daddy size of the Hobbit one, and it was closer to 130.
Oh yeah.
And it has really large
eagle
lawnmower sized tires, so no inflatables.
Oh, that's nice.
So, and it looks like the axle is a lot easier to get to. So I ended up with a
decent wheelbarrow.
A decent one, but it took me a day and a half to get there. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, good time.
That's funny stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We had a good chuckle at home. So
here it goes.
I may have told you this story, but I'm going to tell it on the show because I think it's hilarious. We've been eating out back a lot.
Okay.
And I think it was, what night was that? I don't know. It was one night we were in a hurry to do something. Oh, it was I was going to be working on Melanie's car,
Okay.
And so I needed to go to get some stuff. And so we had eaten out back, and the kids were all there, and Shan and I were going to be leaving. So we figured, okay, we got to run, we'll eat and kind of take off because we got something to do. We figured the kids would be responsible enough to fucking pick up after dinner and clean up all the shit.
Okay.
So we go do our shit, and we come home, and it's like 11 o'clock at this point, and Shanna goes to let the dog out before we go to bed,
right?
And finds out back that the table is full of all the fucking
the tsunami of dinner events.
Yeah,
is still there.
All the shit is still sitting out there. No one. Apparently, we're the only two people in the house that know how to actually pick things up and then put them where they belong, or
Right. Sad dad.
So she goes out and picks up all the stuff, and she brings it in, and then we proceed to play with the dog, and we're laughing with the dog, and because he's funny as shit. And we're standing in the kitchen, and she turns and her back's to me, and I see this fucking bug on her back. No joke. It's as big as it looks like
the lens on a set of Ray-Bans.
Dude, yeah, it's large, and it's like brown and red, and I go like this. So she kind of turns, and I see it, and it's on her back.
Okay.
And I know my wife. I mean, I've only been married to her for 27 years.
Right, which is, blink of an eye.
Blink of an eye in the grand scheme of things.
Right, totally.
But so I know my wife will freak out if there's any kind of bug on her. And so in the processing in the moment of my brain is like, I don't even think I could compute that fast, but I'm like, don't tell her there's a bug on her. She'll fucking freak out.
Right.
That's one of the thoughts.
Right.
The other one is figure out how to get that off of her without saying anything.
Right. You have now entered the best game show known to mankind.
And also another thought was, fuck, the vacuum is in the closet. There's no way I'll get there and come back in time.
Yeah.
Will it still be there? All this shit is literally going through my head, calculate at the speed of light.
Yeah.
And instead of doing anything, I go,
Le gasp.
And she goes, what? And I go, and she turns again. And by this time, I don't see, she goes, it just happened so fast, right?
Yeah.
And she goes,
she is clearly...
what the fuck? And she loses her mind. She is screaming at the top of her lungs. She is standing in place, leaning back, jogging with her arms up, screaming, I'm on fire, motherfucker! No, I mean, it was like someone had a knife and was gonna fucking murder her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a brief scream. It was probably 35 or 40 seconds long. Yeah. And our dog, the poor little guy, he doesn't handle that stuff very well.
Yeah.
He's
already on 11.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a very chill dude, but he gets really concerned if you just elevate your voice when you talk, or if you're having a excited conversation with people, he interprets that as, oh, some shit's going down.
Danger.
Well, this was a fucking scream and dancing crazy shit going on in the kitchen, and he just fucking takes off. And so afterwards...
Did you find it?
No. Never saw it again.
Now it's wandering around.
It's in the goddamn house probably somewhere. And then afterwards, we were just laughing, in tears. We were laughing about that. Yeah. And I wish we had it on some kind of camera or video. We don't have any cameras in that part of the house.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would have been one of the funniest goddamn TikToks you would ever see, because it was that funny.
All you did was gasp. And she lost her shit.
And then and she just fucking lost it, dude. There's no way for me to react any way that would have not tipped her off that some crazy shit was on her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there would be any way.
You couldn't be like, oh, hold still. I've got to get this giant fucking thing off you. You know what I mean? Like, there's just
no
there
way.
was no good way to do that.
Yeah.
But
She's not a bug person.
oh
anyway?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, not at all. Spiders are the devil, Bobby Boucher. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
any kind of bugs, no, forget it. But this one, I think, was a roach,
Right.
which is really cool because apparently we're getting inundated with roaches again this year. Like, we've lived here forever, and like the last several years, we've just had roaches. It's crazy. And so apparently, because the shit was left outside, they were like in the stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them, as she was carrying it in the house, like crawled up and got on her.
Yeah. If you have landscape with ivy, the oriental cockroaches, they're mostly outside, but people who use ivy as like landscape, they tend to be pretty prolific in there. That may also explain some of the rodent things too, because if there's in abundance, that's food supply.
Oh, really? The rats and stuff will eat the roaches?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They eat anything.
I know they're eating my wife's plants.
They had, in fact, when I was pulling up the one, this is what was bizarre. I mean, like I said, the planters were old.
Yeah.
I would be pressing a decade plus. As I moved one out, it had a small, as the bottom of it had rotted out and the bamboo had taken over, it looked like there had been a small home for some sort of rodent
critter
that had like made a nook up into the planter, like some sort of, cave, spelunker. There was nothing there, and we have rat bait all over, so I presume somebody died long ago.
Well, before you came to the house on Sunday, my next door neighbor was out, and we were talking to her, and she was saying she had rats in her attic, and that she had to have somebody come out and fix the hole, like patch up any of the holes. And she showed me a spot like they were climbing up here and getting into the attic this way, and you could see like the little dirt marks where they would like climb up.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 traps in the back, and I've been fairly successful at catching these guys.
Right.
However, the last time I set them, I filled them with peanut butter, and when I went and checked them, the peanut butter was all gone, and the traps were still set. So somebody's fucking smart.
Oh, they're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did is I was like, hey, look, I got 2, but my problem is I want to put them out in the yard places, but I've got a dog. And dogs love cheese and peanut butter, which is the main bait things you would use. So I can't put them low. If I give you a trap, will you fill it with some bait and like set it? And I showed her how to set it and stuff. She said, sure. So I went and grabbed one of them and I gave it to her to like set in her, she's like, yeah, there's some holes back there. She doesn't take care of her yard or anything.
Right.
So
I swept more of her walkway than she probably ever had.
Well, her front yard's a disaster. The backyard, I looked over the fence and I was like, holy shit. Like the people that lived there before, they like spent a lot of time making sure it was nice. And
that's probably not helping you either.
It's overgrown.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just set this back there. You'll catch one. I guarantee it. I mean, I've caught like 3 or 4 in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. It's gross. But yeah, that was some funny shit.
Huh.
That was some funny shit.
Circle back from something when we were talking about Melly and her, the car dying. Mm-hmm. And I had made a point to say that we should probably have jumper, like in your kit.
Yeah.
Like jumper cables.
Right.
And I can't remember. I think we may have talked about it off thing, and it was having the new hotness now is like it's almost like it's just a big battery. A big battery with tiny cables.
Yeah.
And you had expressed concern. It's like, well, how would you know if the battery itself
is charged?
Is charged. Like that puts a little nuance. Cables themselves, they're a little bit bulky.
Yeah.
But if you were to have something to replace that, but you didn't know or did no maintenance on it, how would you know in your emergency whether or not that was going to work?
Well, because the thing of it is, like, I have one of those. It's called an InstaBoost. I mean, there's all different kinds of them, but this one is called InstaBoost. You charge it up, you put it in your trunk. Well, how long is that battery going to be good for?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
like, it's
I think
charged.
I think what I ended up buying is it has right on it the charge. It's like a small OLED panel that tells you the charge level of it. So it's right there, right in front of you. So as long as, I mean, if you're never going to open your trunk and never look at it, then you'd be kind of boned. But you can, since it's a number and not like because I had something too when we were playing Ingress, like it was a 12-volt. I mean, it was like a 5-pound thing.
Yeah.
Very small cable length. Not really meant for you to, it's not something it's not jumper cables. It was not jumper cables. It was something you open your car lid, dink, dink, you turn a dial, and it goes. But it was 5 to 10 pounds of battery. And it didn't, that too didn't really have what's the battery level inside at? You could plug it in, but you wouldn't know. This is it's a small brick.
Yeah.
But it has all of that information like right on it, so you can see, oh, well, this thing's been in my trunk for a month and a half, and now it's down to 7%. You can goose it with a USB.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at that thing in a while, so I'm sure it's probably dead.
Yeah,
but I have jumper cables in there, so or I did. I'm not sure if they made it back in my car.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. No, if they're in her car.
Yeah, that's
better. But I was thinking, in order to, I guess I'm just a little bit old school. But once I found something that I felt, oh, well, this is probably a little bit better because now it's not. I don't have to. The number is there, right? The number is going to be there, so I can't be ignorant of. Well, I just throw it in there and. Maybe in a month I'll just put it on a brick, or I'll put it on a 110 and I'll charge it, and then. But if I know that there's a number, then it's on me that if I put it in one of the cars and it goes out of here not fully charged, well then I'm the idiot. It's not that I bought something where I couldn't tell what the battery was. I was just stupid and didn't read the number.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, this is really cool. I'm glad I have this thing.
Right.
And I charged it up and then I put it in the trunk and then just fucking forget about it because you never needed to use it.
Yeah.
And then not realizing that later on, if you ever did need to use it, it's going to be dead because it's not being used and it's just going to deplete. And it's sort of like, it's like a cool but also crappy. And is the battery even still good? I mean, I've had it for a few years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I have no idea. So I'm going to have to dig it out of the trunk.
Who has it?
It's in my trunk.
Is it?
Yeah. But
I almost like that because I think when I think about this kind of ties into the vaccines and the return the carts.
Yeah.
The concept and the goodwill involved in carrying jumper cables
to help somebody.
Yeah. I don't necessarily see. Obviously, you have a recent experience where you did that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, by and large, a lot of people
it feels less common.
Yeah, are looking to share that, especially with COVID and whatnot. That aside,
don't you think though? I think part of it is some people just aren't car people,
absolutely.
And so, oh shit, that person's car's not. Oh, that sucks for them. I got to go to Target.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, oh, their car. I can hear it trying to, and it won't. Oh. And most people just don't carry cables.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And certainly wouldn't know how to use them.
Possibly not.
So it's like, it almost feels like, well, if anyone in the house who's not me, is not going to be in place to not only find someone to donate their time for Venus or Piper or Xander down the road to use their jumper cables, and I can't get there, then it almost makes sense to make sure that outside of, obviously we have AAA and insurance and whatnot, and in most cases you could call a friend. But if logistically, it's impossible to get a car around or
Right.
get someone to help you donate their battery. I feel like the new solutions are these like quick bricks in through the things, but you do need to know. You need to know, have the information available to make sure that, like,
Yeah.
if you couldn't power a fucking flashlight off the USB outlet, you ain't jumping your battery.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about it because I forget that I even have that little battery brick, and it makes me now want to get it out and like charge it up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just need to do it. I dig through the little thing in my trunk and I go, oh, that thing's in here. And you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I forget about it.
Well, it's those like cycle things come like, if it's not in your face or usable, then it kind of goes like the.
But the thing is if you ever need it, it's not
right.
going to work.
The amount of anchor batteries for cell phones and portable devices that we have in this house is almost innumerable.
Right.
And that trickles out from our time playing Ingress. It was the amount of time I would need, I'm out of pocket or not near an outlet, playing something that was battery hungry on my phone, or trying to power something like an antenna or a, whatever. I would need an external battery. So I was always cycling the batteries into an outlet.
Right.
That is probably same scenario as you in the car. It's like those batteries are in a drawer, out of sight, out of mind, because I'm not using them. They're probably all dead.
Probably.
And I will probably need one tomorrow because I'm talking about it, and they'll all be half health or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where you gotta put it in the calendar or something.
I mean, typically the only time when it comes to like anchor batteries that we have needed them is when we're traveling or if we go to Orange County or something.
Right.
Melanie's not in Orange County, so we have no reason to go down there. So it's like, I don't even have that now. So I'm not leaving my house that much. So I'm not that far away from a 110 outlet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the car battery thing is important. Did I tell that story on the show? Like we were at Target and we happened to nose in on a car that was like having trouble getting started, and I know I've got jumper cables. It's like, oh, it sounds like you need a jump.
Right.
So we get the jumper cables out and we're like 3 connections into the 4 connections, and this lady parks next to the people that are getting jumped.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, don't do that. I have this. Lady, come on. Like, we've already gotten the jumper cables out. We're like, basically, no. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
The hoods are up.
Yeah.
It's 30 seconds from go time.
Yeah.
And we're fine.
It's like, oh, we're good. Connected up. Okay, give it a sec and then start it. This car starts right up. It's like, you probably have a dead battery. You should go get that changed,
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. And, prior to that, they were stuck.
Yeah.
And I just felt good about helping somebody, like, not be stuck at Target.
Right.
So just having the ability to do that for somebody else is awesome. Even if it was just my battery thing that I happen to keep charged.
Right.
That would have been fine, too.
I think there's probably obviously, there's apprehension. Like, I need you to lift your hood, and I'm going to connect my car to your car, especially if you're someone that doesn't understand what's actually going to happen, and you see the small arcing as you're connecting terminals. I can imagine, like, I don't even know you, and you just connected your car to my car.
Yeah, it's scary.
And you want me to do what? Well, I want you to start your car. What?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We're connected. Like,
can you explosions and shit?
Trust me, it's not all that far different than plugging this giant ass battery into your cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
You want to explain to me how you think that's going to work and jumpstart your battery?
Right.
You're plugging it into your cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
I don't even smoke. Yeah, fucking duh. See, you don't even know what's going on right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things like, be prepared.
Yeah.
Boy Scout lore.
I have a long story that won't fit.
Oh, no.
But I have an opportunity. If you're someone in the area, not even the area, if you're someone who's looking for a job,
okay,
and you need a job opportunity, perhaps you should consider, if you don't already, learning how to drive a manual transmission vehicle. Because I ran into a scenario where I was at at a location, and no one but one person knew how to drive a manual transmission vehicle, and it was a need. This person was the only one in a place where you should know how to drive a manual transmission.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and there was multiple conversations this way and that way with multiple different people about us older folks who learned probably in fun ways, you on speed bumps. The gentleman I was talking with specifically grew up in the San Francisco area. So he was used to small cars and the hills of the San Francisco area. And he's like, he was telling a quick story about how his dad on some of the hills over in the Mission area, he'd be at a light, stopped on a hill, and the car would start to roll back as he'd let out the clutch, and everyone in the car would be like, "We're all gonna die!" Yeah. And he's like, and then he wouldn't. He'd be fucking with us by letting the clutch out and like roll back, and like, "Oh, we're gonna hit the car behind it." He's like, and then I had to learn in the same environment. And I said, "Oh man, my dad." No one's obviously been to one. I don't know. Have you? I don't think you've never been to my dad's house.
no.
I have a pretty
I've
steep
been near it.
yeah. My dad's driveway is a pretty steep grade, has it to it. Really fun to ride your bike down.
Yeah.
Really fun to try and run down. You'll probably eat shit, but
until you've got gravel stuck in your face.
It's a fun challenge until you eat shit. But the one of the things that he had done to I think all of us kids was he would let us drive the manual Datsun from like the mailboxes, and then we would get to the part of the driveway with the incline, and he would e-brake the car, turn the car off, and then he would say, "Start the car, go up the hill."
Yeah.
And it's intimidating.
Yeah.
But that's how we learn. And then he would like throw something fucking asshole in like, "And I don't want to be replacing a clutch tomorrow.
Right.
So get it."
Do not smoke that shit.
Get it quick. It's not a, Honda, so get it done.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned. And the
Yeah.
guy had a funny story, and his was the same. And then we joked about how the kids don't know how to drive manuals. So there are clearly job opportunities for making sure that you can understand how a manual works.
Now, on the same vein, saw a video today, and it was a bunch of car fail compilations things.
Yeah.
But one of the sections was this guy, overly confident guy, talking to like his mechanic guy, and they're like standing in like the next to the garage door of this service facility.
Okay.
And outside the door is a CO6 Corvette.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, the guy's like, "Well, we're just gonna burn off these tires on this CO6 because they've worn out and just needs new ones anyway. So we're just gonna have a little fun."
Okay.
Kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is a fail compilation.
Oh, here we
so
go.
This is going to be interesting. Like, what's going to happen? The tire shred? Do they like not put on the brake and like end up in the weeds? Like, what's going to happen? So the guy goes over to the car and he gets in. He starts it up and gives it a couple revs. And next thing you know, he's just like, just hammering the pedal down, and like the car's not moving.
Okay.
The rear tires are not moving. Smoke is coming out of the car.
God.
The dude just fucking torched the clutch.
Oh.
And I mean, the way he's like, "We're just going to smoke these," like, just like he knew what the fuck he was doing, but didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Not even close.
Not even close. It was like mind bending.
Wow.
Because you were like, I didn't expect that. Like, I expected some wreck to take place, or tires to explode, and I don't know, something bad happen.
He just
maybe break it.
his...
He just roasted the shit out of that clutch, because he gets out and he goes, "Well, there was lots of smoke." The guy watching, there was lots of smoke, but it wasn't the tires.
Ugh.
I mean, it was a lot of smoke. I don't think I've ever seen a
Congratulations.
clutch.
Now you need tires and a clutch and probably a flywheel, like all of the above.
Yeah.
What a moron.
And the labor involved in doing all
Yeah.
that. I mean, Jesus.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway,
We're at time.
we're at time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't forget to wash your ass.
Wash your hands.
Get the shot
Wear the mask.
and do the kindness.
Return the cart.
Oh.
Hey, yeah.
All
and
of
do the kindness. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate it.
Bye.